Dear viewers, thank you everybody. Now I am going to tell you about some exceptional rules of changing narrations. That means when we are changing direct speech into indirect one, there are some exceptional rules. First of all, I like to remind you one rule, that is, if there is any indirect command in the direct speech, how should we change the narration? In that case, dear viewers, I like to remind you that first of all, I have to the verb, take the verb. That verb must be, the rule is that the verb must be say or tell or told in the indirect, or it may be said in the indirect space. I think I am telling that you should have to use say, tell, told, said. This any one of these verbs in the indirect speech. And number two, you have to use the conjunction that. And number three, you have to use the be plus infinitive construction. Be plus infinitive construction. Construction infinitive construction. Dear viewers, you see, infinitive construction construction construction. So let us take a look at direct speech. He said, he said, he said, if Samira, leaves the home, if Samira leaves the home, follow her, follow her. So, dear viewers, what is the indirect command here? You see, if Samira leaves the home, follow her. If I say, if I say follow her, or if somebody say follow her, that will be direct command. But if Samira leaves the home, follow her, so this is an indirect command. So the follow her, this command depends on if Samira leaves the home. So in these indirect commands, how can we make a change in the indirect speech? Please take a look at above. According to the rules I have set above, the three rules. Number one, I have to use say, tell, told, or said, any one of these verbs. So I am taking he said, those. So first condition is filled up. This is the first condition, he said. Now I am taking the conjunction that. Now I am taking the conjunction that. That if Samira, left the home. I think you have understood well that how I have changed the narration, because after if I have set the subject and the present form lives has been changed into left. That means this was the present indefinite tense, and now it is past indefinite. The home, and so he said that if Samira left the home, I was to follow her. How did I make it? Dear viewers, please try to understand. Uh, there must be any implied object here, and I think the implied object is me. In this case, after the reporting verb, you see, after the reporting verb said, you may understand that this implied object is me. So this har is referring to the implied object here, me. So, and in that case, from me, the subject uh, has been put here, I, from me. And after that, be plus infinitive construction, as it is the past indefinite tense, so the be is in the past form, was an infinitive construction, to follow her, to follow, this is the indirect command, follow her. So follow, this is the present form of the verb, this is the present form of the verb, you see, this is the present form of the verb, to follow her. So like this way we can change the direct speech into indirect one. Dear viewers, I think you have understood, and if there is any problem, please uh, let me know in the comments, in your comments. So I am dropping it now and I'm going to tell you another example. But in that case, dear viewers, uh, uh, there is also another indirect command, but the third person of the rule should be deducted, because in that case the indirect command will focus any situation, and for the situation which we have to take some steps in the changing environment. So in that case, in the third number, we have to use should plus v1, should plus v1. So what I'm telling, if the indirect speech in this case or in that case, if the indirect is, if the direct speech, that means the indirect commands, I mean the indirect commands should focus any situation, and for the situation which we have to take some necessary steps in the changing environments, we should use should plus v1 instead of be plus infinitive constructions. Please take a look at and you will be able to understand. Dear viewers, he said, he said, he said, if if your if your brakes if your brakes are bad, please, if your brakes are bad, don't don't drive fast, don't drive fast, don't drive fast first. So he said, if your brakes are bad, don't drive fast. So this is also an indirect command, an indirect command. If I say don't drive fast, this is the direct command. But if your brakes are bad, don't drive fast. This may be like this way. If your brakes are good, drive fast. So this is indirect command. This command depends on the condition of the brakes. So what are brakes? Brakes of some motorbike, brakes of some cars, etc. So dear viewers, how we can sense, we have to follow the above rules. So the indirect speech is going to be written like this way. Please take a look at the indirect speech. So dear viewers, how we can write? He said that if your breaks, that means your is referring to the object here, him or her or my. So it is written like this way. He said that if his breaks, or I can write if my breaks, specifically my breaks, my breaks. He said that if his breaks or my breaks are bad, are bad, are bad, I should not. If I take the implied object me here, so I have to write I should, I should, I shouldn't, I shouldn't, I shouldn't. You see, I shouldn't write. Sorry, I shouldn't drive fast. I shouldn't drive. I shouldn't drive fast. I shouldn't drive fast. Dear viewers, I shouldn't drive fast. He said that if his brakes are bad, I shouldn't drive fast. He said that if his brakes were bad, I shouldn't drive fast. Dear viewers, you see how I have changed it, because this indirect commands is giving the sense of some critical situations or some bad situations. So I have to, or I must take some necessary steps in the changing situations. As the brakes are bad, so I shouldn't drive fast. Here shouldn't plus v1 or should plus v1 is applicable, it is correct, but not b plus infinity construction is applicable here. Dear viewers, I think you have understood well. Thank you. Now I am going to tell you about of another rule of changing direct speech into indirect one. Dear viewers, if had better give the sense of some advice, give the sense of some advice. If had better give the sense of some advice. Suppose direct speech, uh, you may say, uh, he said, he said, you, you had better, you had better, you had better, he said, you had better wear, W-E-A-R, wear a coat as it is cold, as it is cold. So in this case you see that this had better means some advice, because the weather is cold, so he is suggesting me to wear a coat. So in this case you have to use the indirect speech like this way. uh, he advised he advised he advised me he advised me. And how we can change the direct speech? After advised, i have to use the I have to use the uh, rule, that is the general rule of changing direct speech into indirect one of the imperative sentence. That means 2 plus v1, that means in infinitive construction. He advised me to wear a coat as it was cold, Dear viewers, please try to understand. Had better is giving the sense of some advice, so the reporting mark has been changed into advised. And after the object, Here the object was, yeah, here the object was implied, but it has been written here directly, advise me. And after that 2 plus v1 has been used, as it is the general use of the imperative sentence to change the narration into indirect space to wear a coat as, and I have taken the I have taken it as the subject, as it was cold. It, so it here is the subject, so this it has been used here also as the subject, and this is has been changed into was, and after that the word cold. So he advised me to wear a coat as it was cold. This is another important rule. So dear viewers, now I like to tell you uh, another important rule of changing direct space into indirect one. Direct space into indirect one. Suppose if the uh, direct space if the direct space focused some hours or call to action, that means, yes, that means like this way, he he said uh, to me he said to me, let us show him, what we can do. Let us said to me, let us show him what we can do. Dear viewers, you see, this is actually not focusing any proposal. This is actually not focusing any proposal. Let us show him what he can do. Let us show him what we can do. This is only means call to an action. That means it is the necessity to take some actions. So how can we change the indirect space? In this case, we have to take the reporting verb to be changed like this way. He asked, he asked me, he asked me, he asked, he asked to me, he asked to me. Uh, I have to use that conjunction. He asked to me that we should here we make here we should use should plus v1, should, that we should show, him what we could do, what we could do. Dear viewers, now the last but not the least, the most important rule of this phase of this lecture is going to be expressed here. If them, let them, let them or him may sometimes focus, may sometimes give the sense of order. Generally, we know let give the sense of some proposal, but in this case, let them or him, maybe uh, maybe some order. So how we can sense the direct space into indirect one? Dear viewers, please take a look at direct space. Direct space. Uh, Hassan, Hassan. Sorry, I want to write another way. The headmaster, the headmaster, the headmaster said, let the boys let the boys let the boys boys let the boys clear up the mess. Dear viewers, you see the headmaster said, let the boys clear up the mess. Here, this let is giving the sense of some order. So, in this case, how we can change the direct speech? Please try to understand. In this case, we have to change the direct speech in the uh, way what I am telling you in direct space. In direct space. So first we will take the subject the headmaster, the headmaster, the headmaster. So ordered, the reporting verb has to be changed into ordered. Said is going to be changed instead of said we are going to taking order. So ordered. The headmaster ordered the boys boys that that day. So dear viewers, remember that be plus infinitive construction sometimes give the sense of some authority, give the sense of some authority to follow some authority. So if we want to focus some uh, respond to authority, we can use be plus infinitive construction. So that they were to clear up the mess, clear up the mess. Dear viewers, you can see that that the let has been focused here in this sentence, and let is giving the sense of order. So the in the indirect space the verb has been used, ordered, the verb has been changed into order, the reporting verb has been changed into order, and after that I have taken the object, and uh, after that I have taken the conjunction that, we have to take the conjunction that, and then we have to use the be plus infinitive constructions. If let gives the sense of order, so we have to use the be plus infinitive constructions. You see where is the be here, and to plus clear up is the infinitive. So this is the infinitive construction, be plus infinitive construction. They were to clear up the mess. So dear viewers, thank you everybody. At this time being, I am going to thank you from the core of my heart to watch my videos, and wish you will watch my videos uh, all the time. And I ask you to learn English, and if there is any fault in my lectures, please let me know. Till then, wish you best of luck. Thank you everybody.